Yes, hello everybody and welcome back to F123, where if you haven't guessed, we are racing as Haas alongside Nico Hulkenberg, a really good guy in the sport. I think a lot of people like Nico Hulkenberg. A lot of people want him to get that elusive podium that he's never got. But we are in and we are driving this beautiful car from Haas. I mean, it is a beaut. It's the reason I picked Haas was the car. It looks absolutely phenomenal. And we're driving straight into it. Research and development, see what we can upgrade. The floor stiffening strays, the front wing adjust the bracket. We've got the cockpit weight reduction as well that we could possibly do. But we do go for some aerodynamics and some chassis improvements as well. So we can see that if we rush it, we can get it on before Bahrain. And if we don't rush it, it's going to be after Bahrain, before Jeddah. So we go for all of them, try and get those on if we can, and then we advance our time. And what we find out is that they don't get on the car. One of them did. The chassis development didn't. There you go. The cockpit weight reduction did not get on. So we do that as standard. It will be on before Jeddah for the second Grand Prix, but that's a disappointing first bit of research and development. But into the race weekend. So practice is done, and yeah, we completed all the things. We get all the resource points, which is lovely. Nico gets a bit for the team as well, and we get all of our development boosts applied. Now, I won't show practice in any of the races. That's just for me to understand the circuit, and then we simulate some of it as well to try and get them done. So as you can see, lots of discounts as doing parts of the practice programs and stuff like that. Yeah, practice 1, 2 and 3 all went very well. We had to manually do practice 1 in the first Grand Prix so you understand what you're doing, and then we simulated practice 2 and 3, and good results mean that we get good driver acclaim as well, an increase in our own reputation. But for now, let's dive in to qualifying of the Bahrainian Grand Prix, a circuit that I absolutely love. I am planning and hoping that we do well in this one. Let's see how we get on for our Q1 qualifying. Okay, so getting rid of my cam for this, we'll try and talk round the lap. We have a custom setup that we have got from time trials, doing a few offline sort of races and laps to see how we get on. And then we're just accelerating time. We're going to get some other people to lay down some rubber, and we're not going to be the first ones out. Nico Hulkenberg goes out pretty quickly, but we see that as they just start their flying laps, we think, yeah, this could be a good time to get out. So we wait for a decent gap, and then we get going, which is what we're going to do right now. So starting our flying lap, obviously it gives you the countdown as you start Q1. We are doing full qualifying sessions, so Q1, Q2, Q3 with, you know, in-game time that we can accelerate. But we are starting our flying lap in Bahrain as we come around the final corner. Crucial to take some pace around this corner and get a good exit, so you can get your foot on the throttle, get into the DRS zone, get your DRS active, and start the lap at an absolute flyer, which we're not doing too badly at the moment. If you look at the top left, it shows you your rough position. Obviously, when I'm driving, I don't look at that. This is all post-race commentary, as you take the first really tight right-hander, pretty slow, but get the foot down when you can, up into fourth to allow you to really put the foot down and get the traction on the tyres, because we are playing with no assists other than the racing line in this series. And we go into that one a little bit hard, lock up the back tyre. You can feel it through the steering wheel when you do it, which is absolutely awesome. Drop a gear to take into the right-hander, foot down so that you can get into 6th gear just before you hit that corner. Come into the bottom, turn right and to a very low gear. 2nd or 3rd, we went 2nd to try and get our foot down, and 3rd, 4th, up to 5th, 6th, and then hold it in 6th gear and drop down the gears to take the hard left-hander. We spin the left hand, and then it's 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, quickly through those gears with the DRS open. We're currently sitting 7th in Q1 at the moment with this time, as we go into the left-handed bank corner up the Bahrain circuit. You can go 5th, 6th, you can get into 7th as you hit round this corner on the apex, and then you've got to quickly drop down the gears down into 4th or 3rd. We go for 4th this time as we hold the traction, come out of that corner really well. Lance Stroll sets the fastest time at the moment. We're predicted at 9th at the moment, up into 8th gear, accelerating away again, keep the pace coming through this final corner as best we can. Power down, and then it's a sprint to the finish, getting a little bit of slipstream off Lewis Hamilton into the DRS zone, and we put ourselves 2nd behind Lance Stroll, but lots more times to come in, and before we've even got back to the garage, Russell has gone into provisional P1. So as we go back to the garage, we have a look here. So Russell, Hamilton, Sainz and Stroll all ahead of us. We accelerate time and start to plummet down the table, sitting in 10th with about 10 minutes of in-game time to go, but Nico Hülkenberg really struggling on this one, so it should be pretty interesting, to be honest. I couldn't decide what to do. We sit pretty comfortably in 10th. I'll go and have another look. We don't go and do another lap, and we get through into Q2 sitting 13th. So not a bad little first qualifying session as a new driver in F1. And Nico Hülkenberg just misses out, and he'll be out in Q1. So going into Q2 then, we set another, well, we have to have another, I was going to say we set another quick lap. No, we have to set another quick lap because it's Q2. Q1 no longer matters. We have to get out there, and this one we thought we'd try and miss all the traffic. Only a couple of cars getting out in front of us, and there is still plenty of time to go in Q2. Just having a little bit of a poor exit out that final corner is going to hamper us for a top speed down the start-finish straight in the speed trap. But we come out of this pretty well, up to 8th gear. This first corner is always crucial in qualifying to see how we get on as the sun is setting. We take it a little bit tight again, just it sort of impedes our exit on that corner, but we do manage to get 4th, 5th, 6th done pretty quickly as Carlos Sainz sets a 1:34.5, I think that was. And then again, a little tight-handed. We take this one much better than we did in Q1, a little bit wide, but we stay in 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, drop the gear down to 5th to take the right-hander. It's a green sector 1, so it's not too bad for us, because I think it does remember your Q1 times for the sectors, but we'll have to wait and see. And then this is such a fun part of the course, because you've got to be so easy on the throttle to not spin as you just put the back wheels on the curb. Come down into the tight left-hander again, and then again foot to the floor to get into that DRS zone and just feel yourself go up the gears into the accelerations. A 1:34.2 is set by Lewis Hamilton to go top of Q2. At the moment, obviously this is only our first lap in Q2, though I do think we do another one in Q2. I'm trying to remember what I can do, but the car's great. It feels better than F2. Like, you can really keep your pace in the corners, really put your foot down, and you just know that grip's going to be there. And the force feedback on the wheel and pedals that I've got really helps as well, because you feel as the back end is losing if you need to just ease off the power and correct the car, which is really good. But we're going to come round the final corner into the start-finish straight, 4th into 5th. Get your foot down, get into that DRS zone, and we're going to cross the line. Nowhere near the top. I mean, we do go top, actually. Provisional pole. I thought it was nowhere near top, but we get provisional pole with a 1:33.7, which I'm pretty sure was rubbish, because I'm pretty sure Lewis Hamilton did he did a 1:34.2. So we accelerate time again, and yeah, we get beaten by both Red Bulls in Q2, but with 2 minutes to go, I'm pretty confident, and we don't go and do another lap because we're doing all right. But everyone else goes up, and we end up 7th in the top 10. Gasly, Bottas, Piastri and Ocon getting knocked out, but there you are, 7th place, 4 tenths off George Russell, who sits in P1, and we go to qualifying 3. And in Q3, with the sun pretty much set in Bahrain, we're going to get this lap going again as we wait for the red lights to come off, and this is where we take over. And we know this is pretty much all or nothing in Q3. I would really like to keep a new set of softs for the race, because I think they'll be really good. We're doing a 14 lap race, I think it is, in Bahrain, but we're doing a really good job in Q1 at the moment. And in time trials, my friend Milo, if you're watching, thank you Milo, sent me a website where you can adjust your difficulty settings depending on what the best time is you set in time trial. So we're going for that at the moment. So the AI should be set at like the optimal difficulty for me on this course, and I'm going to do that for every course if I can. So we'll have a bit of a dynamic AI difficulty is what we're going to call it. Now obviously I'm going to get better at the game the more I play it, the more I get used to the car, the quicker the car gets with the upgrades, so it's going to be pretty interesting. I feel like Haas, in real life, Haas are probably a low scoring mid-table team. Gunther Steiner told us at the beginning with the welcome that he wanted us to be a mid-table team. So I feel like if we're getting low points in a number of races, that will be pretty good. Not all races, but a number of races. But we're setting a pretty good lap at the moment in Bahrain. You can see the track's getting rubber laid down on it. It's getting more grip. We're getting used to the car, getting used to the track. and we are doing a pretty good job as Max Verstappen sets the 1:33.2 to get into provisional pole. Leclerc, Alonso, Norris all up there setting times as well, as Q3 does get to the business end of the race, as we just hold the back end from spinning out on the penultimate corner, and it's a long straight down to that final corner up into 8th gear. The battery is being depleted all the way down these straights. It's a good last corner from us, and we just spin out, and it was going to be a really good time, and we spin out and we have to get back to the pits. That is the back end just giving out from the car. And yeah, we spin out, and we're not going to go and do another lap. We're going to get into the pits, and it's so disappointing because you get literally just enough time to do 2 laps in Q3, and we've wasted our first chance on what felt like it was going to be a really, really good lap. And yeah, we're going in, and I was pretty dejected, to be honest, because that lap felt really, really good. You can see it on the tyres. We've picked up some crap from the side of the road and the gravel and bits like that, so we just leave our mechanics to wheel us back into the pit, get some new tyres on, and get back out there for another lap, because that was thoroughly disappointing end. So we dive into the timetable, because I thought it might show me my Sector 1 and Sector 2 times, but because we didn't finish the lap, they don't get recorded, so I don't know how I was comparing against the AI. But we go out again, and we have another go in Q3, and it should be, we know the course, we know it's just about keeping the traction on the back tyres through that last corner, as George Russell sets a 1:32.6 to take provisional pole away from Max Verstappen at the moment. And it's going to be interesting. So we did another lap, we got to the end of it, I don't want to show you the whole lap again, and we got 8th with 5 minutes to go. And again, we forward the time, and we're going to see who else is going on track, but I'm pretty happy with that. And as I said, I wanted to keep a spare set of softs for the race, which we do, and we qualify 9th in our first race. It's not amazing given that we got 7th in Q2, but I would take 9th. I think 9th is pretty good. All that's left to do is get to the race.
No more testing, no more practice. This is the real deal, and it's make or break here at round 1 of this year's Formula One World Championship. We'll be racing around 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit today. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left down into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz, Hamilton, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Goose, Stroll, Gasly, Bottas, Oscar Piastri, Ocon, Albon, Tsunoda, Hulkenberg, Joe, Sargent, and Nick de Vries. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. A new season then, a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as once again we get another year of Formula One underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice. They've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
Okay, so into the strategy, and I said I wanted to keep a spare set of soft tyres, so we're going to flick through here and see what we can do. It's a 14-lap race. Obviously, we're not going to do full distance. That would be crazy for a game. The videos would be like an hour long, but we do cut the videos up. Let me know what you think about this format. It's very hard for me to commentate and race at the same time, so I feel like the best way is to do this overlay commentary about what's going on. The videos will get smoother as well. We won't always show Q1, Q2, Q3. We'll give a bit of an update about where we got to. I'm still trying to learn what I can edit, keep in and edit out and things like that. But we go for a medium to soft strategy. We're going underway for our first Grand Prix in the Haas driver. It's the 5 red lights, they're all out, we're away, and we get a really good start on our medium tyres as Alonso comes over to try and cut us off, but we jump. Alonso, Sainz, Hamilton, we jump them all and then get a really good line into the first corner. We actually go a little bit deep and we manage to correct it, and we find ourselves after turn 1 and 2 in 4th place, which is unbelievable. But my worry is that the other cars are all much faster. We've got a blooming Red Bull behind us in Sergio Perez, who is just going to surely overtake us very, very quickly. But at the moment, we are on the back of Charles Leclerc in our parent engine car, really, isn't it? In the Ferrari, because Ferrari power Haas, and what a start we've had to the Bahrain Grand Prix. I mean, Crofty would be losing his shit in the commentary box if this happened in real life, as a car that started 9th jumped up to 4th. But it was a really good race start. Something else that I have been practicing in the practice sessions and in the time trials, where you just stop dead on the track and then give it a go about how you want to start. But you can see Perez really caught us up through that really tight left-hander because we didn't take it very well. And Charles Leclerc already 2.3 seconds ahead of us because of one corner that we took wrong, as we're now looking at rear view mirror that we've added in, because obviously I can't see my actual mirrors, but the rear view mirror, like, you've got a Red Bull just on you straight away. It's quite daunting to know that they're there. We have a quick flick back just to see if he's going for a move on this straight. He doesn't. He sits behind us for the slipstream to really just nestle up behind, and I would imagine with the slipstream he's going to get down the start finish straight, obviously no DRS yet, the more powerful Red Bull engine, or it's not more powerful actually, but his aerodynamics will be much better than us in a Haas. And yeah, we nearly touch his rear tyres, but we don't. We give him enough time and space to get our brakes on and shift down the gears, and now we're going to try and keep pace with Sergio Perez's Red Bull, which will be a tough ask. So jumping forward to the end of lap 2, we now have the other Ferrari on us, as the Red Bull Sergio Perez got 1.4 seconds ahead of us. Sainz does the same move that Perez did, but we outbrake him going into the first corner, although he does get the racing line, and we're going to have a little bit of a battle here with Carlos Sainz, but we let him go. It's not our race, is it? And he keeps the DRS from being behind us on the start-finish straight. And again, can we keep up with Carlos Sainz and get the DRS? Probably not, because he's a better driver than me in a faster car than me. But we do now have Lando Norris and Fernando Alonso behind us, so again, more battles to be had on this track, I'm sure, because we're not in the fastest car. But again, jumping forward a couple of laps, Sainz has left us for dead, 3.7 seconds ahead, and he's also 2 seconds behind Sergio Perez. But you can see again in the rear view mirror, Fernando Alonso, the veteran, the world champion, a veteran world champion, is right on our tail. And it's really strange how you feel the pressure of other drivers in this game. Like, obviously they're not in my house, they're not in my room, I can't feel anything behind me, but you do get this feeling, and the DRS obviously lets it absolutely fly past us. We go in to get as much slipstream as possible and then try and stick to the racing line, but Fernando Alonso's a wily old character, although we've nudged him out and gone back into 6th. But Fernando Alonso will have a bit more DRS. We squeezed him off the track a little bit there, coming around turn 3. But it's not going to be too long until Fernando Alonso passes us. And we're trying to extend these mediums out long enough to give us a stint on softs that we can complete. And it's going to be tough, because tyre wear in F1 23 is a very big issue here. As Lando Norris behind us, I don't know if he just caught it in the rearview mirror, has a little spin, and Hamilton gets up into 8th, and Alonso is 1.6 or 1.7 seconds behind us. So we don't take that left-hander very well. We're a bit too harsh on the brakes, giving Fernando Alonso a chance to get back. But yeah, Lando Norris, I don't know if he touched Alonso, but he definitely slowed down that whole pack behind us. As we start trying to get into a groove, but unfortunately our groove isn't as quick as the cars behind us, and they do catch us through most corners, I would say. But generally though, I am happy with how the race has gone. 5 laps in, we're in 6th, we started 9th, we jumped a lot of people at the start. We have a quick look in the bottom right. I'm just trying to figure out how to remember to do the menus at this point. I remember when I was doing it, but I wait for this big long straight, I think, to actually figure out how to do the menus properly. and we're trying to look at tyre wear and stuff like that. But again, Fernando Alonso creeping up on us with DRS. He's not close enough to get it done on this start-finish straight. But we're in a good position. We slide around that corner, which really isn't helpful. Takes all of our pace off, and this is where I'm pretty sure Fernando Alonso gets the job done. He may wait for the next DRS zone. He's really close behind us, but not enough space for him to make the move. But I mean, I'd say we're not really. We are defending well, but some of my cornering really lets me down as we get under pressure into this bit. The high-speed corners I'm okay with. This sort of corner, it can cause a little bit more risk. I think I drop down the gears a bit too quickly, and I don't let the car rotate enough through the gears as it is. But yeah, we're coming down. Obviously, we've got our battery management we're trying to focus on as well, and DRS when we get to those zones, although we're never in the DRS zone when we're 1 second to the car in front. I think we are later on in the race. But yeah, lap 6 coming to an end as we come up the bank of the left hand side. It's basically just showing you a whole lap here of Fernando Alonso battling to try and get past us, and how we're holding him off, and how that was pretty much a staple for this race. I'm expecting a lot of the other teams to start pitting around lap 6, around lap 7 or 8, I guess, because they're going to go, I imagine, onto the hard tyre, which will give them much more pace at the end. As you can see, Alonso getting so close to us into that final corner. They just hold so much speed compared to us down there, and then onto the DRS straight, and Alonso moves out and very easily gets the move done. Again, we slip in behind him to try and get as much slipstream as possible, but I don't think it's going to make a difference. We make a lunge. Wow, I didn't expect that. I didn't think we were going to go for a move on Fernando Alonso when he had DRS. That just seems absolutely foolish, because what it's done is it's allowed Lewis Hamilton to sneak in behind us and have a go, and he's going to get DRS up the inside, and we get to lap 8. Hamilton didn't get that move done. He actually stayed behind us and then pitted. But as we fly down here, this is where our mediums are trying to extend them a bit more. But you can see Perez, Sainz, Gasly all pitting. Russell pits, 24 to 27% tyre wear on our tyres. But at the moment, we're in the lead of the Grand Prix. We are 4 seconds ahead of Max Verstappen. The only difference there is that Verstappen, Russell and Leclerc have all pitted. So we are ahead of them, but we're not actually ahead of them. It's not like a net first place in this Grand Prix. But we can say we are going to lead the Grand Prix for a lap in Bahrain. We're going to come in our debut season and say that we had the lead of a Grand Prix for a whole lap, which is absolutely magnificent. And obviously, you know, a very good achievement if you're a rookie, I would say. It would be absolutely wonderful. And with a bit of clean air, we do actually manage to put in a pretty decent lap time on this lap, if I remember rightly. There's no pressure from behind us. We're not looking to chase someone in front and be as good as we can. We can just sort of set a time as if it's a qualifying lap, knowing that we're on slightly used tyres, and it's not a bad position to be in. I mean, you can see where I follow the racing line much sort of smoother because there's no one else around us, and it's much easier to race when there's no other cars around you. But Verstappen is already 1.4 seconds behind. He's closing the gap on his fresh tyres, and we don't leave it too long till we get onto our tyres as well. I think we do one more lap. It's lap 10. I think we pit. It may even be this lap, but I feel like because we've got the lead of the Grand Prix, I can't remember if we stay out. No, we do come in. Yeah, we do come in on this lap for our change, and it needs to be a good one. And what you're going to find right now is, if I remember this, I paused the game because I hadn't set up a button to allow me to do the pit entrance. So I very quickly have to go and set that up. Manual pit stop is assigned. I give it to L3. And that means we can actually enter the pits properly, which is good. Because what I do is I do it optimally. Optimally? Is that a word? We come in at the optimal time, which means we get a really good stop at 2.4 seconds, I think it is. Yeah, 2.4 seconds. The tyres are on. We're on the soft, which is going to give us a lot of pace. And you can see we're going to come out. Because we did our own sort of custom strategy, it wasn't the quickest, but it does get us on the softs, which are by far the quickest tyre. And we come out in 8th behind, or 9th, sorry, behind Esteban Ocon in 8th, just in front of Valtteri Bottas, who has had a pretty good race for Valtteri Bottas. He's been doing pretty well, and we get really good traction. The tyres are a little bit cold, but the softs don't take too long to warm up. And we now have 4 laps of racing to do on these soft tyres, and we know we can be the 7th quickest car in Bahrain on fresh soft tyres. So after this first lap, I'm sort of expecting myself to put in some good lap times. Whether it's enough to catch Esteban Ocon, I don't know, but we've already put 1.4 seconds between us and Valtteri Bottas in 10th. We need to just keep it going. You can see the tyres coming into temperature give you so much more grip in that left-hander. It's absolutely unbelievable to have them on the car. And fresh tyres are huge in F1 23. They really, really are massive. And just overall, I think the first 10 laps have felt good. The cars felt good. Like, we haven't been able to keep pace with the Ferraris, the Red Bulls and Mercedes, but that's real life. Haas can't do that anyway. Verstappen sets a 1:34.7 for the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. And Esteban Ocon, again, just the sort of medium pace to slow pace corners. The AI does have a little edge on me there. I think I am doing too much of gear changes or too much braking, slowing the car down too much and underestimating how much speed we can take through a corner, which Jeddah coming up next means, you know, it's a high speed track. You need that pace through the corners in Jeddah, so we have to be a little bit braver the more we get into the game. But yeah, generally we're doing right. Gasly has overtaken Bottas and is trying to get on our tail, but we're still 1.5 seconds ahead of him, which is good. But at the moment, Ocon trying to chase down Hamilton, we're trying to chase down Ocon and see what we can do. But we're putting in some decent laps. We're staying on the track, we're not spinning, we're not getting too far out of control, and that's all you can ask for, I think, as a rookie in F1. And, you know, I don't play this game religiously. I don't play it like a lot of the other YouTubers that I watch who do play this game, and it's all they play. Obviously, I've got a lot of stuff going on in life and other games on the channel. But yeah, we're setting some good lap times. We're catching up to Ocon, it seems there. Time-wise, I'm not too sure we are. But, again, no need to drop down the first gear there. But you can see we are setting a pretty good time. But now we get onto the final lap of the race. We move it along. Ocon got 2 seconds away from us. Our tyres are starting to drop off. And we have Pierre Gasly. We're coming in and we don't take the final, or this corner as well. We touch. And Pierre Gasly gives us a bit of bumper cars that keeps us not only in front of him, we get a warning, but it stops him from overtaking us. And we are staying in 9th there as we come. And we're watching the final lap of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Ocon, Alonso miles ahead of us. We are now focusing on keeping our points from Pierre Gasly, because 9th place would be a 2-point finish, as this is the final DRS zone if Gasly can make his move. But we get really good traction, really good power down, and now it's just, can our tyres hold on for the final few corners as we take this corner. I like this corner. This banking corner is very, very nice, and Gasly isn't there. Max Verstappen wins the F1 in Bahrain, the first race of the season. Is it going to be a Red Bull dominant season like we're seeing in real life for Max Verstappen? Who knows? But we come out of that penultimate corner with a gap of 0.6 seconds to Pierre Gasly, and we've actually done really well to extend that a little bit. So we should be safe from the Frenchman and come round the final corner, keep it on the track, don't spin out, and there we go to the checkered flag. We get over to the pit wall to celebrate with our team because we've picked up 2 points in the first Grand Prix of the season. What a 9th place finish. Absolutely love it.
It was a magnificent race and a drive right out of the top draw to take the win for Red Bull today. What do you think it was today, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently, and it's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be so proud of the victory they secured here. Let's have a quick look at how the drivers' standings have changed. Max Verstappen now leads the Drivers' Championship. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for Driver of the Day?
Often my go-to would be a driver who's managed to pull off an especially impressive feat during the race. However, in this instance, I was more impressed by Max Verstappen's solid, clean driving throughout the event.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. And Red Bull take over as championship leaders. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
So as the highlights play behind, it's a disappointing race for Nico Hulkenberg, who finished technically last because Alex Albon DNF'd and Hulkenberg finished 19th. But we finished 9th, a very impressive first race. I'm very happy with it. I mean, there was a few errors, a few corrections needed. We went for power too quickly on some corners and lost the back end a little bit and had to correct. Had a bang with Gasly, which actually kept us in 9th place. So yeah, it's really interesting. But because this is the first time I've sort of done this video, let me know your thoughts. Would you prefer to just see the racing without my commentary and I can talk through what we do beforehand in terms of the research and development and then give it a little overview like this at the end of the race? Or are you happy for me to talk through it when we're racing and sort of commentate, I guess, on what's happening from my point of view, what I thought about the race, what I was thinking of at the time? Let me know. But yeah, a fantastic first race, 9th place finish. We lacked a bit of power compared to the other cars, the Ferraris, the Red Bulls, the Mercedes, but I think we qualified 9th, we finished 9th, and we picked up 2 points for the Haas team as well, which was lovely, as we get a lovely little cinematic there in the highlights as we come around the corner in my lovely purple and yellow helmet. As that, I just think the Haas car looks really nice. The black and the white, I really like that. I think it looks, yeah, I think it looks lovely. I'm also going to see going forward if I can record these in 4K, because I should be able to do that now with my new graphics card that will be processing all of my videos, and that would be good, as we get a lovely highlight here of Alonso going past us, which is a little bit frustrating, isn't it? But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the video, how it went, comments. I'm always willing to respond and have some positive feedback and like constructive criticism and things like that, so I'm always keen to improve on what I can do and how it can work as we see the final lap here, and it's just going to be us crossing the finish line. Look how close Pierre Gasly was to us, actually. Oh no, that's when we had our little bump, I think. Yeah, that's the little bump. We really turned into him. It probably should have been a penalty rather than a warning, but the FIA seemed very generous to allow us. Maybe they're like, oh, he's a rookie, we'll just give him the points. And then we crossed the finish line, and getting a 9th place finish got us a nice bit of driver acclaim as well. So next up is Jeddah, and we will see you then for the second Grand Prix of this season in F1, and hopefully Nico Hulkenberg has a bit of a better time of it. But for now, I'm out. Cheers.